the Fawn Creek Youth Campground and destroyed nearly all of the tents in that area. That area had to be, well, was evacuated just in time, thanks to the efforts of a federal wildlife officer, as we said. So Matt Belew, who is talking to us live this morning from Oklahoma. Hey, Matt, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, guys. Good morning. Another fabulous wet day in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I know. We were just looking at talking about the forecast, and I wish we could dry it out for you. It just isn't going to happen soon. But, Matt, I know you don't want me to do this, and I fully mean to embarrass you fully here. You're a hero, and thank you so very much for doing what you did. And I know that's not what you came on the show to talk about, because you want to talk about enjoying the outdoors safely, but what you did for those scouts was truly fantastic. I want to thank you. America wants to thank you. How did you know that that campground was in danger? Walk us through that.
Well, first, thank you for the kind words, sir. I definitely don't consider those actions heroic. I was simply the messenger that day and receiving the great information. I really consider the heroes out there, the storm spotters on the ground relating that information, and the local and, of course, national weather service providing that great information, of course, news channels like yourselves.
So when you got the information, how did you get it and get them out? Because we're looking at the damage right now of not just the tents collapsed, but giant trees turned over there.
Due to some the remote area and lack of cellular service, most of the radio messages we were receiving were from our local county dispatch. Regardless, there was a tornado on the ground nearby, so we certainly had to act quickly and evaluate the amount of time and the number of people in the area to warn them to evacuate them.
And so you knew that you were right there and you could get to them, and so you did. And they thankfully got out of there just in time. It wasn't but about 30 minutes before the damage that we're seeing right now blew into that place. Where did you take them for safe shelter?
Well, fortunately, in the opposite direction from where the tornado was approaching, we had a facility with a very large basement, and I was aware of that fact. And as soon as I identified the number of people present at this campground, I realized there wasn't an adequate amount of adequate shelter for these Boy Scouts to take. So based on the time that available, I felt that it was a right decision to make to request that they travel to this building and seek shelter in the basement.
Indeed it was. Hey, Matt, I know you love the outdoors, and you want people to spend a lot of time out there, and so do we. We know our audience loves it. Give us maybe 3 tips to be safe during severe weather season when you're spending some time outside.
It's a great time of year. We've got some nice May weather out there. The wildflowers are coming out. The hiking trails are fabulous. People want to get out and camp, but before we just pack the bags and load up the RV and head out, there's some certain things we need to think about. One is, before you head out, study that forecast and know the area where you're going and what lies ahead. Are there going to be severe weather storms popping up and things like that saying. When you get at a campsite, identify the closest shelters.
Absolutely.
Tornadoes, we oftentimes we hear tornadoes on the ground and they're approaching a few miles away, but a tornado can actually drop down on you. The tornado warning is present, so be mindful of that. And if you and equipment is imperative. This day and age with technology, we have the smartphones and they're very useful. But however, going out to these national parks, national wildlife refuges, you can find yourself with a lack of cellular communications. And although we love apps like weather.com offers and rely on that information, you may not always have access to that.
Right. So it's good to have a weather radio if you can in your crew as well. Matt, you had some great tips for us, and I totally agree with you. Scope it all out. Make sure you know where to go. Just have a plan if there's a bad storm. Matt Belew, congratulations for the wonderful work that you do, and thank you so much for getting those scouts out of trouble in time. Anna Rodriguez has our top news stories of the day.
Good morning, Sam.